Um, and so thinking about then engagement, because another problem that often happens with PBL is that teachers plan things and you say, boy, the kids will love this, and they don't, and then they might be upset, say, these kids, what's wrong with them? They don't find this interesting. That's their fault, right? But what kind of things, again, with elementary and preschool kids, you're probably it's not as hard to find things because they're such pleasers at that age. How do you sort of navigate that landscape of engagement without having them just be people pleasers and teacher's pet kind of thing? What kind of things do you do to try to identify things that are necessarily interesting to them and might get at their empathy or problem solving?
Bring up a really valid point is engagement. And when I do workshops and I work with, pre-K all the way up to the university level, I have actually moved away from the word engagement, and I've moved a lot towards empowerment. I feel like engagement prompts folks to want to be Johnny Carson on the stage and make sure that kids feel entertained. And as an educator, my role is to make sure that you're empowered to want to understand why that piece of content is relevant to the way the world functions. And so for me, empowerment around content helps to engage students into the reasoning why it's connected to them personally. And so I agree with you. At a younger age, it's easier to engage students and empower them because their ability and their excitement around learning is very different. And so, not very different, but they're at a younger phase in their educational career. And so, but as we get older, I think if we change the tone around engagement and really empower kids to find out what that need to know is through really powerful work, we end up with students who are engaged. And I attribute that to Paula Rutherford, who wrote the 21st Century Mentor, and she talks about the most well-managed classroom is one that has the best planned instruction. And when you really plan your instruction around empowerment and authentic reasoning behind the reason why content can be important, students become engaged. And that is the art of teaching and the art of loving what you do. And so I think for teachers who struggle, it's new because maybe they didn't experience that kind of empowering engagement in their own classroom, and so they're unsure of how to embed that in sort of work into their own plans, and so that becomes a challenge for folks like me and you who really work with teachers to get them to see beyond the entertainment factor and the excitement, but really the empowerment of why that content knowledge is relevant.